Welcome to the AFTERBUZZ After Show Blacklist, Season 3, Episode 19, Cape May. Red ponders life without Lizzie, as we all do. Let's talk about it.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Money don't matter tonight.
Hey.
Money don't matter tonight. It sure didn't matter yesterday.
Welcome to the Blacklist AFTERBUZZ After Show. Had to throw a little Prince there. R.I.P. to Prince Rogers Nelson. I'll move to my right. Oh, there I am. Hi, guys. R.I.P. to Prince Rogers Nelson. Had to bring that. One of my favorite songs from Diamonds and Pearls, Money Don't Matter Tonight. I'm like a DJ. One of my favorite songs from the 92 LP. Right. Diamonds and Pearls. Anyway.
Backing up slow jams.
But Money Don't Matter Tonight. I thought this was appropriate because Red doesn't give a crap about what's going on with
money on fire.
He's lighting on fire. He's throwing it everywhere. He's getting his affairs in order. He's taking an extended leave. So Money Don't Matter Tonight to Red either.
If you guys thought it was easy for us to find a Prince song for this, you're mistaken. My man Braswell had to dig deep.
I had to dig deep to 1992. A B-side of a cut. That's an excellent song. That's Prince. God damn it. Excuse me. Anyway, very sad, but also it's a horrible segue. But Prince isn't the only death we have to talk about today.
He's the only real one. She ain't dead.
Okay, Liz, I wasn't here last week.
You weren't here last week.
Was I in an opium-induced fever dream?
No, listen,
Did Lizzie King die last week?
You may have been. That has nothing to do with what happened. Okay. Whether or not you were tripping out sideways with the pipe, that's your business. I don't have any judgment in my heart.
Sure.
But Lizzie looked like she died last week.
She's pretty. I saw the shit get zipped up.
She got zipped up in the bag.
And I just want to touch guys. I listened to you guys last week, and you guys were very funny.
And we talked about it. If you get zipped in the bag, either you're dead or you're having like a really bad day.
Really
we talk about the rule in all of sort of TV and drama when you know it's only they do that move a lot. Even on Game of Thrones, when you don't see the body, you're not even dead. Even in Star Wars, spoiler alert, when someone gets it and falls down the thing, there's no body. Hey, maybe he comes back somehow. Maybe he's grabbed onto something. Anyway, the point is that we saw it. That's just,
all right. That's good.
After Kylo does his thing, he falls down. He
grabs on.
I'm still alive. Anyway,
he didn't have to announce it, but he did.
It was my dream.
That's your.
Everybody's dream.
Opium's a
sad death
bitch.
too. Anyway, so my point is that we saw Lizzie die. We saw her get zipped in the bag.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, like, there's all kinds of conspiracy theories online and thoughts. You guys offer some theories of your own.
We did.
But clearly, in James Spader was on, and he did an interview with EW talking about, look, Lizzie, as far as Red's concerned,
that's it.
Exactly.
Lizzie's dead.
Yep.
Like, so he's not in on it. There's no like, I'm gonna protect her by killing her. He's not in on it. Clearly, my man, the doctor, ain't in on it. He tried to save her life. I feel like if the doctor's not in on it, how does she, fake her own death with the doctor?
Doctor's in on it. Gotta be.
Dude,
If
the
theory is true, then the doctor has to be in on it.
Has to be in it.
And the most dangerous thing that's ever happened to him is sitting in front of Red explaining this at the beginning of this episode.
That's when I spill it. He's not dead!
Right? You just went, look for the, you got 5 more seconds. That look. Fuck it. I made it up.
Yeah,
I made it up.
This is my point. Like, if he's ever going to spill it, it's going to be dead. He's gonna go. Like, he's not dead. The only person capable of setting this whole thing up is Mr. Kaplan.
That's what we said last week.
And she's the only person who could orchestrate this whole thing, but it would had to involve the doctor.
Had to involve the doctor.
Dr. Nick, for sure.
Dr.
Dembe,
Nick.
most likely.
And we don't know. I mean, like, who knows if Tom's in it or not? Because Tom is pretty broken up, but we didn't see him that broken up, so maybe he
wasn't that broken up.
No.
He didn't seem all that screwed up.
He's like
guy who lost a wife on his wedding day.
Yeah. So who knows? But I hate to say this. I'm just gonna say it. I hope she's dead.
You're not the first. You won't be the last.
Nope, my friend, you will not be the last.
Okay. Listen. R.I.P. to Lizzie Keene and Megan Boone. You're lovely, and you had a great run on Blacklist. If this is in fact the end, we appreciate everything you've done in building this character in the last 66 episodes or whatever we are up to.
433.
But it feels like 433. So I appreciate everything you've done and all that good stuff. But what I will say is that we've been all banging this drum forever. I would love to see this show. The show seems a little handcuffed, not only by Megan Boone, well, not only by Lizzie Keene in that relationship, but like the construct of the show being centered around this mystery of what Red isn't or isn't to Lizzie Keene, and what's going to happen, and what happened with the mom, and the thing, and the burns, and where we get about it, and the cabal. It just got so bloated, and season after season, having to try to figure out what to do, what new twist. I'm like, enough already.
Well, the beautiful thing about this, even if she comes back, even if she's alive, which I would bet a lot of money on. I would bet thousands of dollars that she's coming back. Don't anybody take me up on it because I'm not going to sign anything. But I would bet money that she's coming back. So, but even if she does, what the writers on the show have done, and we've had our issues with them in the past, and not that anybody gives a shit that we have issues with anybody, but even if she does come back, they've broken it. They've broken this. They've broken the episodic nature of this. They've broken the serialized nature of this. And this episode clearly proved we can do way out there, completely different shit that has nothing to do with the serialized episodic that we've been doing. And we have broken the Lizzie Red mold. Yeah. So even if she does come back, it's going to be in a lightened capacity. It's going to be. It's not going to be you and me versus the world. It's going to be, now we're going to establish that maybe she's not Red's daughter. Maybe the connection's broken a little bit. Maybe Red finds something else to attach himself to. And I think it's going to be a much more dynamic show when they come back.
I agree.
When she comes back.
I want to hear from you, but I will say, if she does come back, I vote for the ER series finale, Juliana Margulies and George Clooney version, where where
it's like the last scene of the last episode of all time.
And it's like, Clooney, you were there all along. Here I am. Roll credits.
Don't even have to say a word.
Lizzie, here's my baby. I was alive the whole time. Credits. Like I'm voting for that one.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay, I'll buy that. I'm totally into that.
Episode. I want to get into this episode. But first, I want to say hi to our folks in the chat room. A lot of folks are they're listening. The Skeptical African, my man. No, you're welcome for Prince. Ethan, nice to see you. Let me get my knife out so I can butcher this name. Najee Padagou from Paris, France. That's not even close. It doesn't even sound like French. For that,
not even vaguely like French.
But hello to you, Nikki, the usual Nikki's, and Be Well, I'm the Boss, and Daniel, and Ethan, and all the rest of you folks. Great to have you, Ashley. Thank you for joining us. Hello. Let's get into this. So this episode was great. I loved it. This is what they call a bottle episode, in the TV business, because it's, again, like you said, it broke out of the serialized thing, kind of was its own self-contained thing. Although I feel like it was chock full of information.
Yes.
And I'm not embarrassed to say, I don't know what the fuck was going on in this episode. I'm not embarrassed to say. However, I do know, and I haven't rewatched or watched with the captions or done that stuff or take copious notes on this thing, but I do know there's a lot of information that we're going to find out later. I did predict to myself that maybe this is some sort of opium den. I think it's going to wake up in the opium den, like this, that the whole episode took place in the opium den, like a Twilight Zone episode. But yeah, I mean, this is clearly some fever dream, and there was a lot of information disseminated throughout this adventure he had. I want to get into and unpack it, but I loved it. What did you think, Julia?
I mean, I freaking flipped for this episode. Are you kidding me? Like you both were saying, I do love the departure from the, the procedural aspect in favor of a spotlight on Spader, because no one could carry an episode like James freaking Spader.
You're 100% right. Yeah. In case you guys forgot, this is James freaking Spader.
He's like, no Megan Broom, no problem.
I got this.
No post office. No, wrestler, you take the day off too. Or Rom, I got this. I'm James Spader.
To see him wandering and lost within his own psyche was so dense and so beautiful to watch. And speaking of dense, this episode, like all I have written down are just quotes, because I felt like every single quote was extremely important and extremely layered.
You did. Well,
I don't really have like notes on the quotes. It's just like, oh God, let me write that down. Oh God, what's that going to mean? What is that? What does that inform later? So that's, I can't really piece it together yet.
Yeah.
But I'm into it. I don't know what it means, but I'm drawn to it, and I'm just like soaking in it.
We can have a lot of fun kind of going through these quotes and trying to decipher what we think this means, and it's in a macro sense, and actually each of these quotes as well. But before we do that, Joe, what did you think?
I said earlier, I think this is awesome departure. Totally cool, totally brilliant, and completely unexpected. I don't know about you guys. Yeah. I expected a totally typical procedural wrap-up following someone has died, where we go through and everybody's all screwed up, and then we go through the funeral, and there's taps, and there's the 21 guns. That was my expectation.
Which is happening. I've seen.
I'm sure it's happening.
Well, I've seen some stills on Entertainment Weekly.
But this is what I thought today was going to be.
Right.
But
Me too.
the writers gave themselves, the show gave itself so much room here, and they took full advantage of Red. Like they started in the opium den, which I don't even know if there's opium dens anymore. Who knew?
Well,
So Joe
every
spent his
restaurant that
weekend
has
on-
a false wall in New York, they all have them apparently.
I'm such a rube, and I love one of the things I love about Red as a character is that he's a character with no rules.
Right.
Like there's no he has his moral code. It is his moral code. It doesn't matter what anybody else feels about it. It doesn't matter what the actual laws are. And I love that they take that and go, you know what? Where do we start him? Well, we start him in a freaking opium den.
Right.
And the old lady comes in and says, too much time. You got to go. You got to go.
You've been there since Friday.
Yeah, get the fuss out. You're
Yeah.
done. You're cooked. And no rules. No rules Red. And then, do you want to take the gun? No, I don't take the gun.
Right.
I'm moving on.
Yeah.
I stumbles outside, and he's got that weight. He's got that weight of loss
Yeah.
and heartache, and he's completely careless. He's been this careful guy for how many years?
Sure.
And he stumbles out in the streets, almost gets hit by a cab.
It is a continuation of what we saw in that collapse.
Yes.
Which was a heart-wrenching scene. It's the continuation of that same guy. And frankly, and just one more thing to touch on the opium den is that, you know, I mean, the Nick, you know, Dr. Thackeray, for those of you watching,
Yes.
a lot of time in the opium den, but like that's set in 19 or something. So this is great, but this is exactly where I think Red, the type of vice I would expect Red to have. Red's
Yeah,
not going
of
to go
course.
and go on a cocaine bender. He's not going to slam a bunch of Molly. He's
No.
not going to drink a bunch of scotch, maybe. You know, he's not going to, you know, do a bunch of heroin. He's going to take it all the way back to the turn of the century and find an opium den.
He's a classic guy.
And spend a week in an opium den just to get it, to work the shit out.
Well, I mean that's legit though. That's the reason that the pipe goes sideways and you put your head on the thing is because once you smoke it, you are in your own little freaking universe.
Yeah.
And that's.
You sound like a man who's been in a few dens.
I have not been in an opium den. That's too deep for me, man. I don't have that. I don't have that kind of time. I got kids.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Daddy loves you.
Got one quick dip into the old den. I'll be back on
Daddy
Wednesday.
loves you. Daddy's got to go trip for a while.
You work out the school.
Right.
You work out this. You walk home from school today.
Right? Baby, do your homework. Daddy
Yes.
loves you.
I'll be in the den. Yeah, so
That's a commitment, man.
that's some deep water. That's some deep water. So listen, so that happened. I agree. Like we have the start of this episode. And he says he needs to go to a very mysterious place called Cape May, New Jersey, right? And so he heads out to Cape May.
It sounds mysterious, but if Cape May's real and you're from there, it's probably not mysterious.
I feel like, and I get a chance to look up if Cape May is real. We were Los Angeles West Coast guys. What do we know?
A whole lot of nothing.
We know there's a lot of capes in the East Coast.
Yes.
You know, Northeast is full of capes.
It's not our kind of beach.
We
Not
don't-
our kind of beaches.
We don't have any capes in the West Coast.
No capes.
So,
Cape May is a city in New Jersey.
all right.
Sitting in the southern tip of Cape May Peninsula in Cape May County, New Jersey, where
There
the
it is.
Delaware Bay meets the Atlantic Ocean. It's real.
Okay.
3-star average, $180 a night for hotels.
Thank you.
Currently 76 degrees, winds out the southwest at 12 miles an hour, 51% humidity. Enjoy your time in
going.
Cape May.
Than's Travelog.
Absolutely.
Travelog Flippo. It's Anthony Bourdain over here.
Hey, welcome to Cape May. We're going. Sit down.
Yeah, so he goes to Cape May. It seems beautiful. It seems like it's a typical Northeast type of place. You know, it's in New Jersey. There's a big resort there. He's you know immediately something's not right. It's something that it really does. It feels like The Shining
That's
meets
exactly what I
It's
thought.
The Shining
Exactly
meets
thought the
The
same
Sixth
thing.
Sense.
meets
Yep.
The Sixth Sense meets Inception meets Steph from Pretty in Pink. I don't know.
Best movie ever.
That's the best movie ever.
Well, it's the best hour we've had ever on the Blacklist.
Pop the pink collar whenever you kids are ready to go
Oh,
upstairs.
Steph.
I'm James Spader. Anyway, so yeah, and it's and things start happening. It starts with the diner. You know, let me ask you, when was the first clue you guys got that something was off?
Time jump.
That there was a payphone in the diner.
Yes, good clue. Look, you're on some Sixth Sense shit.
Uh-huh.
Was everyone
Oh,
right?
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, she's
That's what I
she's
wrote.
got her Scooby Doo
There's
hat on right now.
payphones in Cape May.
Oh, okay.
It's New Jersey. What do you want?
I mean, I had no sense of the town yet, so
Sure.
maybe it was a town that was sort of stuck in time. You
Could
know,
be stuck in
they're
time.
out there.
So that's when I first got my sense of something's going to be a different episode. But then when we got to the point where he's looking at the photos and he's looking at the lens flare photo of Lizzie and the mom and everything else, but once he gets to the resort spot and there's a woman there and she's not there.
Oh, the receptionist.
The receptionist is there.
With a different kind of
Is
phone.
not there. So can I ask the first?
But that was later.
Yeah.
I thought that was it? Was that?
No, that was after. That was after. Wasn't
That
that
was after he saved her.
That was
Oh,
after
after
he
he
saved
saved
her.
her. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I couldn't remember. I'm time jumping out. So he goes out there and he sees this woman, heading towards the beach. Mysteriously,
The woman that he had just seen at the diner escaped the.
exactly.
But that's
dude.
the time jump. Like at the diner, he's watching what's happening. Something's going on. It's red, and then there's a time jump. We go right to the resort, and he doesn't resolve the problem, which is very unread. That's what.
Yeah. Well, when he sees her, this is suspiciously like how the story he told Lizzie. Is this correct about how? Is this how Lizzie's mom died?
Yeah, she walked into the ocean.
Yeah. So this is the same thing. So we're seeing that. So immediately we're like, okay, well, this is. Did you get that immediately?
Yeah.
Or did you have to think about that?
Well, I got it, but then I wasn't sure what time we were in. I wasn't sure what we were doing with this episode yet.
Right.
So I was like, walking into the ocean, just like is this a thing people do? Is this a
Right.
normal
Seems like a
way
terrible
to
way
commit
to kill yourself.
suicide?
Yeah, exactly.
Like
Not the most efficient way to commit suicide, by the
No.
way. You just gotta do the whole waves or stand back up.
They just did it
you
a couple seasons ago on Shameless too.
Yeah.
And I was like, we do this? This
Right.
works?
Yes.
All right.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, drowning is drowning. Just seems like a really difficult choice to make.
I mean, Ophelia did it. She was batshit crazy.
She was, and it's Hamlet's fault.
It's all.
So yeah, so he saves her
Nerds.
and gets her
Such
in.
theater nerds.
Yes,
Oh my God.
nerds.
Or Polonius.
Oh, Polonius.
he
Behind the curtain.
Stab him in the
Stab.
stab.
We got 20 minutes.
Sorry.
No.
Sorry.
So he saves her. He gets back to. He gets back.
Laird
to the
just
place.
comes back pissed. I mean, I'm just saying if you haven't seen the show.
It's all right.
Yeah, all
He's
right.
my favorite
he
Laird
is.
cheese.
He comes back red
Mini Hamlet, really.
with old girl.
Yep.
And he gets back to the place, and he does see this. So this is where I start to think something's not quite right.
This is where you pick up on the Sixth Sense
Because
situation.
I'm like, okay, where are we? And then that's when I immediately do my he's back in the opium den the whole time. This is some sort of weird dream. So what are we gonna? That's when I start paying attention. Well, what are we gonna learn from this? What are we here to learn? And then they have a very, I assume, a very revealing conversation, and say a lot of stuff. Red and this woman, but I didn't understand. I think my problem during this episode is I'm trying to read into what's happening as opposed to taking anything at face value. But how did you read their first conversation?
Well, the second that he crawled into bed with her and put his arm around her and put his head against her head and said, "Tell me, talk to me," I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh wait, this isn't just some stranger."
Right.
Like I said, I was grappling back and forth. Is this Katerina's? Is this in his head? Like, what exactly is happening here?
Right.
And then we saw the receptionist with the different kind of phone
Sure.
from a different era.
Yep.
So the second he crawled into bed with her, and I love that they never made it obvious. They always kept us just teetering on the edge of wondering
Sure.
really what was happening and
Right.
if she was real or if this is a flashback, what it is.
Yeah.
But that was my biggest clue is when you don't crawl into bed with a stranger. It's not college anymore.
No.
Those days are gone.
Those days are long
Yeah,
gone.
speak for yourself.
Joe frequents several colleges. Look out, Santa Monica City College. Braswell's en route.
But then what they talk about, it's not the way he died. What did she say? It's not that he died. It's not the way that he died. It's the things I said to him right before he died. And I was like,
Right.
okay, yes, it is Katerina. There's a couple times
Yeah,
it's like,
it's just
yes,
pretty clear.
Yes.
no,
No.
yes,
Yes.
no,
Okay.
yes, no.
So the bit where she says, someone's trying to kill me, this is obviously referring to the past and what's happened. Is this episode intended to shine light on us, to shine light on what the backstory is with Katerina and Red and subsequently Lizzie? Is this what we're supposed to like? Because we never got any
But
answers.
here's what they did.
There is no answer. Oh, go on.
Well, here's what I think that they did that I love about the episode. Instead of having a bunch of exposition, a bunch of basal exposition sitting there explaining it all to you, they wanted you to feel it, because if you can feel it, if you've seen it and experienced it with him, right, then you can truly understand what it was he went through, and then you can truly understand how he could be connected to Lizzie without being her dad, and you could wrap your head around it. If you just say it, it's not enough. Even if you have some flashbacks, it's not enough. And then you got to think about the clunky mechanism. Do we age Red back 30 years
Yeah.
and try and make young James Spader somehow happen?
No.
Do we how much would it cost to Terminator 3 or Terminator 5 or whatever the hell the last one was where they made Schwarzenegger young? How much would it cost is that even feasible? No. How do we do that? We can't do it. So what's our next best thing to bring the audience into this relationship and get them to experience it so that they understand his level of love and investment, and at the same time not make it something that they can dismiss and walk away from. And I think that's what this episode was. And they made
it's a great,
such a move.
It's a great job.
What a
It's a great
move.
job with that.
It was
because
risky.
They're also very risky,
brilliant.
but it's also able to sort of keep us, thanks Zach, keep us shrouded in mystery and keep us guessing still, which is somewhat annoying. But I was okay with it this time.
I was okay with it.
because it felt like maybe this story is still going to propel the Blacklist forward as we're getting maybe some of the answers, but not all the answers. We still don't have the main answer whether or not Red is the father.
We still don't know exactly
Yellow blouse.
what Katarina
I
and
see you,
Red's
Sylvia.
relationship is. We still don't really know.
No, we don't know.
fully.
Yeah, we don't.
But there
And-
was an intimacy that they had together
Absolutely.
that was just a comfort and like a big ups to Lottie
Lottie Verbeek.
Lottie
What?
Verbeek.
Oh my God, was she phenomenal?
No relationship to Jane Van
To the beak.
to the Beak.
To the
To the beak. That's the
She's
beak.
yeah.
What? Oh my God,
Great
was she a
performance, right?
She
killer?
was stunning.
Killer.
Unbelievable. Where was she? 3 years. Anyway,
Should have
but-
cast her to be Lizzie Kane. She'd make a great Lizzie Kane.
Lizzie, keep it up. La la la.
No offense.
But oh my God, was that?
Yeah.
She was awesome and beautiful and just.
but forget all about that. It's really the chemistry. Fantastic.
Yes,
Yes.
chemistry to
the
them, right?
instant comfort
Yeah.
and the rapport that they had,
Exactly.
and their ability to communicate and talk, and just good old fashioned grown up ass acting. Like she's she's in the tub and he's outside the room, and they're having this incredibly intimate discussion.
Yep.
And you're totally in.
Yeah,
You're
and-
completely in.
And also, like we've talked about this before, when you get some guest stars in the Blacklist, that it's fantastic to see. And I'm trying not to pour dirt on Lizzie Kane, but like it's fantastic to see James Spader in a scene with someone who can hold
An
their
equal.
own with James Spader, because
Yeah.
James Spader was bringing the heat. He was throwing high heat, 100 miles an hour plus, and she was like crack, like no problem.
Not
It
a
was
sweat.
Really, it's really
Without a
good to
doubt.
see.
It was
Without a
amazing.
doubt.
Whereas other folks may have been like
Anyway,
Crumbling.
crumbling.
Don't
with
act
the-
at me.
yeah.
Don't act at me.
Stop acting at me. I gotta go.
Can't handle the pressure. Don't act at me.
throwing all those words.
So that was really great to see.
Oh.
I want to talk about this, one of my favorite tropes in action movies and in television movies, which is this sort of like we're alone in the house and the bad guys are coming. So we've got to do one of two things: either do some badass super spy shit or do the Home Alone.
Home Alone it.
Or we're
The
gonna
Home Alone / A-Team.
Yeah, we're gonna Home Alone it.
Alone it.
All I
And
got is a propane tank, a nail gun, and 4 ounces of crazy glue.
you
Let's
see
do it.
At top, the Born Ultimatum, the Equalizer,
Over and over again.
Over and over again. The Gunman with Sean Penn. I love that move where like, there's 30 guys coming. It's just me and you. What do we do? I've got 2 bullets and a stick
Right.
of gum.
Yep.
Let's go, MacGyver.
Let's do it. We got this.
So I love that. And
Loved it.
Yeah, and that was great to see, because you get the idea that there's some ingenuity on Red's part, but also this woman is very capable.
Yeah, she's not in the fucking around business.
Right.
And when she bashes dude's head in,
Yes.
she bashes dude's head in.
So-
she doesn't knock him down so that Red can get up and
Yeah.
finish the job.
Right.
Oh, she don't need no Red.
I'm going to put this dude's face through the back of his head. I'm going to use this here watch stand to do it. You stay where you are, sweetheart. I'll let you know when I'm done.
What are some of the what was the line that she said where he said something and she's like, "Red, don't be ridiculous about it."
Raymond, don't
Oh,
be
I don't
Raymond.
even know your name.
Yeah, I don't know your name.
Don't be
Raven,
ridiculous,
don't be
Raymond.
ridiculous.
Yeah, and I was like, huh?
Like, okay, this ain't real, but it's
Right.
badass.
That's what that
Yeah.
was like the defining moment,
Yeah,
because
like,
up until that time, I was like
You could maybe-
80% thinking
Yeah.
this was Katarina, and then don't be ridiculous. Raymond was like, it is her.
But, it also...
But,
Go ahead.
hold please. Were we not led to believe that Katarina has blonde hair?
Yes, we were led to believe that Carrie has blonde hair, and there's also another red herring in here. No,
IMDb?
yeah, the IMDb. If you list, what's her name? The Vanderbeek. What's her chick's name?
Lottie Verbeek.
Lottie Verbeek is listed as Sasha.
Sasha Rostova.
Sasha Rostova.
Oh, what does that mean?
Who the F is Sasha Rostova?
Auntie? Auntie
Auntie?
Sasha?
Auntie.
Auntie Sasha?
Auntie.
What? What? Did I miss
No.
that?
So I don't know why that is. I don't know if that's just a weird, just something that
Like a glitch?
Maybe
or
they were messing with us.
or maybe they
They
threw
thought
it
it
out
was
there
Masha, or-
because
I don't know.
who knows?
Sasha, Masha,
Sasha.
name it
Well,
after
it's a
your
neat-
beloved redheaded sister.
Yeah.
Well, and let's be real. I mean, I got a redheaded wife who's blonde 95% of the time. I mean, red to blonde is not a big swing.
I'm blonde.
Right.
Now
Yeah,
I'm
just say
redhead.
red. She look a little red today.
I'm pretty red.
So
Naturally blonde, turned to
so,
red.
So who knows with that? That is also confusing as heck, because maybe this was Sasha who's red hair and Masha has the blonde hair and so whatever. So we have that thing. The main question I had is, so that whole action sequence, Home Alone action sequence, that was really great. was that supposed to represent what happened that night? Or
Kind of got that vibe, right?
I was
Where-
wondering, like, did this story actually happen?
Did it
this
go down like
attack
this?
actually happen? I'm not sure.
Yeah, and then those guys, I couldn't really tell if those guys.
They looked contemporary.
Yeah,
They didn't look
those hitters,
dated.
they seem like contemporary hitters, as opposed to like guys from the '80s.
But they looked like the contemporary B team, though. They didn't come in,
Right.
and they could have cast those guys much harder, but they didn't. I think they made a conscientious choice that this was not going to be like. They didn't send out a bunch of Dembes.
Right.
And they've cast a bunch of Dembes before. They've cast a bunch of badasses, but these guys were kind of like mid-level looking guys. Didn't they look?
Yeah, I mean, there was no, I don't know. They look pretty modern, especially the black guy looked like very modern. He was in there, like he looked. So I don't know. Who knows? But that was interesting. So maybe that was represented at first. Like, is this really happening? And is it just him by himself?
maybe it's-
and he thinks he's with her.
Maybe
Is this a
within his
flashback?
psyche, it's sort of a merging of the two worlds, his current world
Maybe,
and
Right.
the world in which they fought.
Because he saw both, right?
together.
Because he saw that telephone. He saw the old school telephone
Right.
with the girl and with the woman in the outfit, and then two seconds later we saw the newer one, which was still a '90s version of it with all the different, it was a '90s version.
So
of
maybe
Office
he's
Phone.
envisioning a modern enemy, but fighting in an old style,
But
the
he
way
did-
he would fight with Katarina.
But I mean, but the propane tank was modern. It was a modern propane tank. It was like a blue Rhino thing. I mean, if I remember right, I don't think they had a what you call it on it. There wasn't like a It didn't say blue Rhino, but it looked like one of the modern propane tanks you just sub out at the
Right.
gas station.
Fantasy Stats Guru says he thinks it was Red imagining Lizzie's daughter growing up, which is that's one theory.
Agnes?
Katarina's at the end.
Spagnus?
Masha Spagnus.
Oh, shout out.
We got to give a shout out to Christina 5747.
Yes.
Spy baby Agnes. We have to call the baby Spagnus.
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 Yes.
That's for you.
Spagnus of God.
Spagnus of God.
And there was one other thing that I forgot to mention
Theater
here too.
nerds.
But so there is so that all happened, and then after that, he said we got to clean this mess up. They presumably go to sleep. They wake up. He sees her going off to the ocean again. He runs out there to save her. She's gone. And we have the moment, when he's like, well, what did you see? Where is she? And dude's like, dude, the only person saw you is up here is you.
You're the
In the
only
last
living
2
soul.
weeks, not the last 24 hours, the last 2 weeks.
And very specific. The only
Living soul.
that leaves no stone unturned. So no one's been here but you, buddy.
For 2 weeks, dog.
Yes.
2 weeks you've been running around like a maniac.
And when he finds the necklace, the thing, that was a little convenient, by the way. Like he just happened beep, 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 to find that.
Well, we did see her the first time she walked in the ocean deliberately
Sure.
take off her jacket and her necklace.
Right. I saw. I
Over
got
time,
that,
it
but
would
the
have
fact-
moved over.
Yeah. Okay. But the fact that he found it there was somewhat. It
was meant to be.
Convenient. Okay. I'm not.
It was
see,
meant to
well,
be. It's
this-
what brought him back to reality.
And this is the question, right? Has he been tripping the whole time? Has there been a ghost? Has there been something in between? I don't know.
Yeah.
But if he's been tripping the whole time, it is incredibly convenient that poof, there we go. But if there was a ghost involved, I don't know, some shining action right there.
I have no idea. So I want to know. What are we supposed to? And then of course he says, "I've got someone to see." What's
Yeah.
his last
I
episode?
don't get it. I don't know who's
Yeah.
got to go see.
Why is he telling that
who?
guy?
That
Who
guy
else
doesn't
is
care.
gonna tell?
Yeah.
That guy's like, I just made money for
Mama.
I've been out here with this goddamn metal
Yeah.
detector for years. This is the first time I came up.
So give me. So I want to know from you, Julia, because you got the notes.
Just quotes.
Just give me
Not
some
notes,
quotes.
just quotes.
Give me some
Hot
quotes.
quotes.
Hot quotes.
Give me some quotes, and then let's see what you got.
All
there.
right.
Let's see if we can figure
Ever
this thing out.
spared someone who deserved to die? And that's when he talks about my heart, my life. I would get everything to be a part of that child's life, but that's when it's revealed that Tom has kicked him out completely.
Yes.
Yep.
So that's something that we need to touch on.
Yeah.
And to harm him would be to harm him would be to harm her.
Yes.
Speaking of Spagnus.
Right. And so,
Spagnus of God.
Tom's out. Tom's out, setting up for a potential. I mean, there's talk of, and I think they're in development now. If it goes to series, the Blacklist spinoff with Ryan Ryan and Famke. So I don't know, and maybe Spagnus. Who
Maybe
knows?
Spagnus. Probably Spagnus.
And Gina
What else?
Sakatako's hottest stepmom in town.
Well, I think if the theory. I still stand by it. She should be the hottest
She's the
stepmom.
hottest stepmom.
First of all, it's so disrespectful to call Xanatos the stepmom already.
What?
She would be.
That's what her deal would be.
Who knows? She's going to get back together. He loves Lizzie.
I'm just saying, if Lizzie's dead,
He's
Gina
gonna go back to the-
Sakatako's
He's going to go back
is...
to the murders Xanatacos with Spy Baby.
Dude, she's right there.
Yeah, she's hot. Okay,
What
go ahead.
about the whole suicide little speech he gave about the suicide bomber in Tel Aviv.
Oh,
and
yeah.
that
all the
has like
fallout.
Emmy written all
Crazy,
over it.
crazy
Come
monologue.
on.
And he grabs her. You're not going. The story. I'm going to keep you here with the story.
Yeah.
I'm going to make you stay here with the story.
That was the other clue that I said that this can't be real. Because they're like, the hitters are outside. They're coming with guns. Hold on. Let me tell you this 5-minute monologue. Okay, but the guys are coming 10 years ago. It's like, oh, Jesus. So I don't know. I thought like maybe this is not real. But go ahead.
No, I just thought that was so poignant and so
And every-
devastating and heartbreaking.
Every suicide has that. That's
Every
his point.
suicide
Every
is an act of
suicide.
terror against
Yeah.
anyone you've ever known that's
And
ever
everyone's
loved you.
ever loved you.
Yeah.
And the closer you
do
are
it.
to the suicide bomber,
Oh,
the
the
more
more-
horrific the effect.
So
God
good. So good.
damn, it's
So good.
Spader.
Good, good.
Spadered
good
the
stuff.
shit out of that monologue.
Yes, he did.
But it really gave an idea of how her suicide devastated him.
Devastated him.
Right.
Just tore his world
Like
apart.
Tel Aviv Cafe devastation.
Yes. And because of that, he chose the child. And what did he say? That he was making that choice, you know, his Hobson's choice to choose one or nothing. And he chose the child, and that it was an arrogant choice. He became arrogant.
Right.
That he thought that if he nourished her, protected her, taught her, that she would be safe and happy. And no matter what he did, all he brought was, what did he say?
Misery, pain, and
Misery,
and
violence,
danger.
and
Yeah.
then she
Violence, yeah.
said, and death.
Oof.
God damn.
Anything else? One last one?
Those are some of my faves.
Those are great.
Those are good ones, right?
Well, one of the things about the
What
episode.
did we learn? What did we
I am
learn?
her. The last one that killed me was I am her mother and I am death to her. God damn.
So
Lottie
And that was her excuse for the suicide. I am her
before we-
mother and I am death to her. Like,
Yeah.
come on, rip my heart out.
rip my heart out. That's also very similar to what maybe Red is feeling about
Absolutely.
the Lizzie relationship. So there's some parallels there.
And
that
how
we
he's
see.
feeling about Agnes,
And how he's feeling about
Spagnus.
Spagnus,
You know, like he's her, whatever he is to
Yeah.
her, but he
He's
loves
death.
her desperately, and
How much would I
all
give
he
to
wants to
hold
be
her,
is
to
a part
see
of
her
her
grow
life,
up?
and he can't.
cannot.
Yeah.
And he can't kill Tom to get him out of
No.
the way, because to kill Tom would be
Is
to
to
kill
hurt
her.
Yeah.
So maybe this was his sort of grappling with suicide.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
30 seconds each or 15 seconds each. What did we take from this episode? What did we take away?
Well, like I said earlier, I think this was their way of bringing us into to Red's brain, and I think they're incredibly efficient about doing it. And what a wonderful use of what could have been a typical, and it will be, like you said, a typical funeral episode. We didn't have that. This was a wonderful way to experience his life and experience what this all was to him. I thought it was flipping perfect, and it was one of those things. My wife and I afterwards, we looked at each other like, was this a goddamn Blacklist? This was fantastic.
Right.
And like you said earlier, I think at the beginning, this gives us an idea of what the Blacklist could be without this constant procedural that it's kind of built itself into, and it gives. I think they've given themselves a ton of freedom. What the takeaway has got to be is this is what the depth of what Red's emotional connection is to these women, and now we can kind of get an idea of how much this means to him, not in a mysterious way, not in a out there kind of ethereal way, but in an actual visceral way. We've experienced it with him now.
Got it. You have 10 seconds now.
He pretty much everything he just said. You know, he can go on for 10 more seconds if he wants. No, that's okay. It was such a risky move from the Blacklist. I'm so proud of them for doing it, and the way that they executed it was just so stunning and freaky and just dreamlike
very
and
good.
haunting. So good job, Spader. I love every second of you. Keep doing what you do, bro.
This is one of the best. This is one of the best written episodes of the series.
Period.
In terms of pure writing, one of the best acted episodes of the series. And it was a bottle episode. I think we got a lot of information, even if we didn't get anything. I thought it was great. A great way to reboot the series. I do want to say, folks online are in kind of a bit of an argument about, whether or not Katerina Rostova is Red's daughter or Lizzie is Red's daughter, back and forth. Ashley Skinner, who I agree with, says, "How come everyone believes that they're father and daughter after the staff, crew, writers, actors have said no, they are not father-daughter?" I agree, Ashley. Why do people still think that?
Nobody
Joe
knows.
Filippo.
Nobody knows except for Spader. That's what Amir Harrison told us.
That's true. Okay. Well, I need.
But I still don't think he's a father. But I'm just saying.
He is.
He's
not
the only one
father.
who knows.
Michael Jones wants to know: did Red go to Cape May to kill himself?
That's what Julia was just saying.
Yeah. Huh.
That was the point she was making. Like,
that's
what
a
if
good
this
point.
whole thing was his way of dealing with the potential of walking into the ocean?
Yeah, that was our fist bump moment. I'm saying, but I'm just echoing that. Miss Blunt, okay, that's it. That's all I got. Really quick predictions. Can we do predictions? Do we have time for that?
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay, 10 seconds each show.
I got nothing. I really don't. This whole thing threw me for a loop.
Julia.
Well, I saw in the previews that we see a glimpse of Famke Janssen, so the spin-off is happening, and this is going to be the gateway to it. If the theory is correct that Lizzie is not dead, I don't know how she is. If she is not dead, maybe this whole thing was planned by Famke Janssen. Maybe the whole thing with Solomon was a red herring to get Tom and Mr. Kaplan to capture her and get her out of the way. I don't know. That's pretty convoluted.
Who hired Mr. Solomon and who hired this Halliburton or Halanon or whatever the Halliburton.
Halcyon? I don't know. I mean, really, the truth of the matter is I don't have a freaking prediction, okay?
Okay, fine enough.
Thanks for putting me on the spot.
I think I think that Red's gonna sort of like the new Blacklist is coming to see who was after Liz and who's after Liz's baby, and then finding their way to those people to get inside this Halanon situation. Mr. Solomon becomes the big bad. The post office and Red all work to find people who were trying to get Lizzie, who subsequently got her killed. I think that's what this is heading. I hope.
Well, maybe Famke Janssen's entire character was to get Lizzie away from Red.
Yeah, maybe because
maybe her job is to keep her safe.
She can't be the big bad because she has her own series coming. So who knows?
She can be.
Or maybe she could be the big bad of another series. Who knows? All right, folks, that's it for us. We've got to go. We're out of here. That was great. We love that. Thank you for joining us in the chat room, folks. We appreciate you guys all there. And please, on iTunes, go check us out. Rate us on iTunes. We like 5s, but if you do, it helps others find us in our podcast. We appreciate all your loyalty. Wow, there's a whole bunch of you watching right now. We appreciate all that, guys. Cher, Marcella, Iris, Sylvia, Michael, everyone. French person whose name I butchered. I appreciate all you guys for checking us out. Joe, where can people find you?
On the Twitters at Joe Flippo, JoeFlippo.
You.
Me. Twitter and Instagram was my name, Julia Cearley, JuliaCearley. Follow me.
Twitter, Instagram at Joe K. Braswell, Snapchat, JK Braz, Nadji Peregu. That's probably wrong too. Thanks, guys. We appreciate you coming in, and we'll see you next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.